thank you very much. I've only got 10 minutes, so I'll try and be quick. I've been involved for a while with this since 9/11. I've been very proud to be involved, and so is the Institute of Education. We helped develop some of the materials, and they've been expanded and adapted recently. And so I'm going to talk you through a little bit about why, how it came to be, so a little bit of a sales pitch, and then I'm going to show you bits from the website, just so that you can understand actually what is there. It makes more sense. I think every teacher has been asked this question, or it could be sir, at some point or another. Actually, even maths teachers say, why are we doing this? Why am I learning differentiation? It's quite a difficult question to answer, because you can answer it in lots of different ways. You know, you could say, well, one day in life you'll need to learn the gradient of a curve. And you won't really. You'll never need to know that. And not that your life doesn't depend on some people knowing it, but actually you won't need to know it. But so often the answer is given, well, you need to know this because it's in the exam. You need to know it because of the exam. And increasingly, I think there's a tendency, because of the pressure of exams, that we see the value and purpose of education is simply a hurdle to get through. It's just about getting through it to the next stage. That's why you need to do it. And I think that's wrong. I think, you know, why I'm studying maths is because I need to have an understanding of the world. I need to have an understanding of the world. If I'm going to have autonomy and make decisions, I need to understand the world I'm in. And part of that is mathematical understanding. So that's the answer. The real answer, based from my perspective as a pupil, would be, you know, you need to learn. You need to learn these things for your own benefit. So, Miss, why are we learning about 9/11? Why are we learning about it? Well, I think the answer is the same, is that you need to have an understanding of the world. Actually, it's quite hard to have an understanding of the world you live in, the geopolitical of the world you live in, without an understanding of 9/11. It's actually quite hard. And it's not only that you need an understanding of 9/11, I, as a fellow citizen, need you to have an understanding. We share and inhabit a common space. I have an interest in every child's education as well as that child. I have that interest, and I have an interest in, we have people living in this country who have knowledge and understanding and can use reason and can think about and discuss difficult issues. I have an interest, a genuine vested interest in that as well. So that's why we're learning about 9/11. Now, we did some research at the Institute of Education a while ago about young people's understanding. This is in 2010. So the pupils may have just been on the fringes of their memory, maybe not. These are secondary school pupils. Asking them what caused, this is just some excerpts on what caused it. And the first one, Islamic extremists who did not like what the Americans were doing, the war in Afghanistan, were taking matters into their own hands. They drove 2 planes into the Twin Towers of America. We just asked them. Of course, the chronology is wrong there. It's quite profoundly wrong. This matters. This matters. These are young people that are going to go online and argue and discuss things. This matters. Look at the second one. I think the World Trade Center towers took place because Al-Qaeda were jealous that they were not part of a trade. They probably also wanted the country to be... I mean, it's complete misconceptions and misunderstandings. Now, the difficulty is I need my fellow citizens to understand the world around them. We all need it. So where are they going to understand 9/11? Where are they going to get that understanding from? Well, I know they'll look on the internet. And it's possibly the worst place you can go to understand the events of 9/11. So I think it's very important that we need it. We need it as fellow citizens, and the young people need it, clearly need it themselves. Interesting, our research also asked teachers, would you be interested in teaching this? Yes, massive. 90% of teachers saying yes. There's issues with where it fits in the curriculum, and I'll talk about that. But overwhelmingly, this is something people want to teach about. So the program has been developed in partnership with the Institute of Education to do these things. And I won't read them all, but to learn, to explore, to reflect. At the bottom point I'm going to get to learn to respectfully discuss sensitive and controversial issues. And there are. I mean, what happened, I don't think, is controversial, but the controversies are about how do governments respond? What do we do? What's the nature of conflict in religion? How do those two interplay? Okay. And I'm going to think from you now, if you're asking, well, why should my school teach this? Why should I teach that? Well, I'm going to give you an instrumental argument, obviously because it's important and young people need to know it, but because I'm just going to give you here, this is your hook in. It supports the promotion of fundamental British values, a requirement for all schools to promote fundamental British values. And it's a difficult one that a lot of teachers object to the name, and once you can get over the name, I'm actually quite a big fan of this. It challenges schools promoting fundamental values in different ways. I'll just talk about some of the values and how they're challenged in schools, because we've got to promote the importance of democracy, of free speech, of tolerance and respect. And there's a tension here between what we're telling kids, hey kids, democracy is great. And then we're doing it often from a profoundly undemocratic institution. We're telling them freedom of speech is fab. But actually you don't have much. Diversity is great, although we don't actually do a lot on that in our curriculum. Prejudice is wrong. And then in the staff room, watch out for little Johnny in 9F, he's a piece of work. And I think it raises problems because there's a difference between the taught curriculum and the caught curriculum, the hidden curriculum. And I'm a big fan of the FBV agenda in schools because it's an opportunity to do something quite radical, to actually change the way schools operate. So you have praxis. So there's the joining up. You are a living embodiment of fundamental British values yourself, so that you're marrying the taught and the caught curriculum. And this isn't just me saying it. These are the theorists, Lawrence Kohlberg, who developed amazing stuff on moral education. The only way a school can help graduating young people become persons who can make society a just community is to let them try it experimentally in the school themselves. And this is going back 100 years to John Dewey. Individuals learn to understand themselves as democratic individuals by becoming members of a community in which the problems of communal life are resolved through collective deliberation. This is how we promote fundamental British values. We change the way we do schools. Okay. Now, one of the things I would argue for is this. We can see this. What do you do as a teacher? I've got to make my pupils tolerant. But be tolerant. Hey, kids, be tolerant. I mean, that doesn't work. You don't change people's values by just talking and saying, be tolerant. You do it, actually, just by discussing difference. And this is a profound point. You discuss difference. Research has shown, there's research from Diane Hess in America, that the more people discuss differences of opinions and hear different angles, the more tolerant they become. And it can be on any issue, really. And this is important because we heard earlier from Sarah talking about how we're increasingly living in closed societies. And Diana's research also shows that as we get older, we increasingly have less and less conversations face-to-face with people we disagree with. You just have mutually supportive conversations. You go on Facebook and you have mutually supportive views of your mutually supportive friends. So we don't get an opportunity to discuss, as adults, face-to-face, things on which we may disagree. We actually don't get that opportunity to discuss it. And I would argue, as a result, we are becoming less tolerant because of that, precisely because of that. And this, then, in verse, gives us a massive opportunity in schools. You have minds that aren't fully fixed, that haven't had years of commitment to different positions and that they have to defend. They're flexible, they're open-minded. And never again in their life will they be exposed to such a range of different views in a classroom. You have an opportunity to build tolerance through a discussion of difference. Okay. So, that's my little sales pitch about why I think this is the perfect topic. It's the perfect topic in so many ways to explore and teach about fundamental British values. So this is the website. This is your what you'll click on the website. You'll see there's a big school section, but there's other section as well. I'm going to click through the school section and see what's there. You'll see a range of resources here. It's a difficult subject because it doesn't fit with any particular area sometimes. When you think about the events of 9/11 and the consequences, you don't just think geographically or from a religious perspective. I mean, this in its sense is a flaw with schools, that we teach in these very compartmentalized manners, whereas actually life is more complex and interdisciplinary. But what we've done is try to spread as much as we can through the different curricula. I helped to develop some of the citizenship lessons. You'll see that how do countries respond to terrorism? It's a genuinely open question. There's lots of different approaches. People don't know. Here's a really good, how tolerant is the UK? Is the UK more tolerant since 9/11 or less tolerant? Yeah, okay. So those are some of the questions you'll see from RE, attitudes to conflict, forgiveness, retribution. In your different subject areas, you can click through and you'll see what you'll get. So just clicking through, here's the RE page. You'll see a range of materials, nature of conflict, human rights, attitudes to religion, different responses, forgiveness and retribution. Really interesting RE topics, exactly the sort of RE topics that many schools do teach, but all schools should teach. And then if you click on through those, what you'll get is exactly what teachers want. And I know this as a teacher and a teacher of teachers myself. What you want is to be able to click down, get a nice PDF of my activity sheets, and get my PowerPoints. That's what I want. I want an overview to tell me how this lesson works. I want, here's the PowerPoints, here's the activity sheets. I can go and read it and I can understand it. And you'll get that really high quality. And I keep saying the word high quality because I wrote some of them. Also, I know Joe Taylor, who's a fantastic teacher, also wrote some of the RE ones as well. And it really is, and I've looked at a lot of the different materials that are presented as ways of teaching fundamental British values. And I think some of them are very commendable and very good. I think these are the best, literally the best ones that you can do to explore a whole range of different issues from an event that young people will know about and are interested in. So I'm just going to quickly end my why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Interesting, I've been in classrooms and I've taught lessons from this pack and part of the trialling. They never ask. They never ask that question. They never ask it because they're so interested in it. You know, often we say, criticism of education is what you're doing is devoid and not relevant to life. You can't make education more relevant to life by looking at how the world changed since 9/11. Okay, so that's my little sale pitch over. I'm going to now hand over to a fantastic educator, Kamal, who's going to look at embedding it into a school community and culture.